Am I the a-hole stories? Am I the a-hole for banning dad's wife/mistress from family functions? I, 26 female, have 2 siblings, 28 male and 32 male. Our parents had been married for over 30 years. Dad fell into a stereotypical affair with his 25-year-old secretary and left mom for her. He bounced back and forth between both of them until mom grew a spine and divorced dad. His mistress was devious and would post pics on social media like dad was some kind of prize. She taunted our mom on the phone. The affair caused my mom a considerable amount of pain. She got some justice in divorce court and dad's family have refused to accept his mistress. We don't even call dad's wife by her name. We call her dad's wife. Even to her face. There is not a derogatory name in the dictionary we have not called her to her face. My brothers and I actually sat down and came up with a way to make her feel like the pariah she is. We decided the best way to protect mom and get back some sanity was to go very low contact with dad and shun his mistress and treat her like she did not exist. We all needed to move on. Dad married his mistress and not one person, not even his brother or parents, showed up to their wedding. We told our grandparents we were going to have limited contact with dad, and if there was a family event and dad and his mistress were there, not to be upset with us for not attending. They told us how ashamed they were of dad and his mistress would never be welcome in their home. They told dad he was welcome at family events but his wife was not. The rest of the family followed suit, and sure enough she has not been invited to anything and she has never seen the grandkids in person. At first, dad went along with this for 2 years, but it started causing major issues in his marriage. I think he left her home alone one too many times and she left him. Then he gave our grandparents an ultimatum that his wife be included or would no longer attend family events. My grandma, bless her heart, told him she would miss him, but trollops were not allowed in her house. We had no contact with him at all for 6 months. He started attending family events again without his wife, so she packed up and left him again. Last weekend, he sat us down and begged us to accept his wife. He said he loves and misses us and wants to see his grandkids grow up. He said his wife will divorce him if he attends another family event without her. We told him she will never be welcome ever in our lives and these were consequences they both needed to live with. He walked away completely defeated. So here is where I think I may be the a-hole. He said our mom has moved on and is happily remarried. He said he deserves to be happy too. He loves his wife and she makes him happy, but there is a dark cloud over them because of this estrangement. He cannot be away from his grandkids, so he is going to end up divorced. I know we took a hard line with dad and his mistress, but have we taken it too far? Are we the a-holes? Now for the top comments. Everyone sucks here. Obviously, these people behaved badly. But it's frankly disgusting that you and your siblings are willing to make nice with your dad while subjecting his wife to unrelenting slut-shaming and name-calling. Why is she the one being punished for his choices? You're all just awful. So, you conveniently forgot the part where the mistress was harassing their mother? Or just ignoring it because you wanted to make the mistress to be a victim? Who stuck by his mistress when she was doing those things? Both the father and the mistress suck. He's the actual cheater. Knowingly being with a married person makes you just as bad as the actual cheater. Home wrecking ain't cute. Everyone sucks here. You already know why your dad and mistress suck, but keep in mind who is the one that betrayed their loyalties to your mother. It is not up to the mistress to keep your family together. It was up to your father and he failed. The fact that everyone calls his new wife a hoe but places no blame on him, is frankly incredibly sexist. Except for how she bullied OP's mother and rubbed the affair in her face. Nope. She has it coming. I'm not hearing that your father ever apologized for everything, let alone acknowledged his wrongdoing to any degree. His new wife has not apologized or admitted to doing anything wrong. Why would you suddenly accept someone who has yet to show any change or regret for their actions? Also, it's weird as heck that his new wife is younger than his children. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for calling out my husband's horrible behavior? To start, I, 36 female, would like to say my husband, 45 male, is generally a very caring and considerate person. He is attentive, he pulls his weight around the house, works hard and is a great dad to our 4-year-old son. But there has been a pattern of behavior that I have had to ask him to rein in the past. And to his credit, for the most part he has listened, like, he is quite a touchy-feely person and would sometimes give women a shoulder squeeze, a nudge as he walked past them or a random hug, which is not always appreciated. Since I told him it can make some women feel uncomfortable, he has basically stopped doing it. However, sometimes the way he talks about women, and also the way he talks to his friends about women, gets on my nerves. Things like how they look, making jokes about their sexuality, etc. Cue to tonight. We are out at our local bar for a trivia night. He's had a few drinks and I am sober because I'm 35 weeks pregnant. Our nanny, 22 female, who looks after our 4-year-old is also there at our local bar. We love our nanny, she is like a sister to us and we're very close with her. A trivia question is being asked that it's something to do with male genital, and suddenly I see my husband laugh and make what I can only describe as a member-sucking motion, and realize he's doing it to her nanny. She is drunk, and just laughs at him, and I don't think she is offended in any way at all. Regardless of whether or not she is uncomfortable or offended, I am mortified. For a number of reasons: A, because I find it incredibly tasteless; B, because it was in public; C, because I am sick of men in general doing this kind of stuff and thinking they're funny; and D, because he is a married man with a son and a pregnant wife making those kinds of motions to our nanny who more than is half his age. So when we got home, I confronted him about his behavior and he completely dismissed me and said I was overreacting and that it was just a joke. I told him he was a pig and this is the behavior from men that needs to change. So, am I the a-hole? And before anyone jumps in with a maybe they're having an affair comment, let me assure you that that is most definitely not the case. Not the a-hole. That's just completely inappropriate with an employee. Full stop. He's a jerk not only for the behavior, but for dismissing your concerns. Yes, in my opinion he is just a dumbass. I hope OP didn't marry him with a thought in mind, oh, he will change once we are married. That doesn't work. My grandmother told me years ago that, the only time a woman has the opportunity to change a man, is when he's still in diapers. She was a wise woman. Not the a-hole. His behavior is one sexual harassment complaint from him getting fired/sued/investigated. The nanny might have laughed it off during the night out, but she might reconsider and feel uncomfortable later on and quit/get him in trouble. You'd be a nanny short, but who cares, he was just joking. People like your husband make life just harder for women. Thank you for calling him out. I just don't even get what the joke was. Some people make these types of jokes that have no punchline at all, they're just gross. Last year your marriage was failing and you are having a second kid anyway. And now you are certain he's not having an affair. Yeah, okay. Honestly, if the nanny wasn't offended, I would question why. Not because it's necessarily an affair, but do they generally joke around sexually? If so, this seems like a bigger issue. Edited to add, let me clarify. I don't have an issue with this type of humor but seems like it would be a big problem for OP. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for taking back my stepdaughter's gift over a comment she made about my ex-wife? Me, male 43, and my ex-wife divorced 6 years ago. The reason was her refusing to move with me out of the country and leave her folks in the town she grew up in. She was a very generous, kind-hearted person, and our separation never affected the mutual respect we had for each other. I work in construction. I left the country and met my now wife and stepdaughter who's 18 and she lives with her mother. My relationship with her is based on respect although we're not that close. Anyways, my ex-wife got sick in the last couple of years. I stayed in contact to check in on her since I live in another country. My wife is okay with that since she knows my ex and I knew each other since childhood. My stepdaughter however would make comments about her although she never met her. She'd ask me inappropriate questions. Compare her mom to my ex and ask if I ever thought about going back to the country and getting romantically involved with my ex again. I snapped and told her to stop and that was it. I recently was able to get an apartment that I was planning on renting out. But my wife said it'd be great if we let my stepdaughter move into the apartment as her 18th birthday gift. Said she'd be very grateful for this support, and I agreed thinking my stepdaughter is more deserving than others. She was happy when she knew. She saw it and was excited to move next month. Last week, I received the worst news in my life. My ex-wife passed away. My stepdaughter came into the room and saw me sitting on the floor. She asked, and I told her my ex-wife passed away. She looked at me then smirked and said, "Ding dong, which is finally dead." I was stunned. I yelled at her telling her to get out. I told my wife what happened and that I'm taking back the keys to the apartment from my stepdaughter after the disrespect she showed to a woman she never even met. My wife argued that she was joking. I asked if this was good time for her jokes seeing me like this and acting insensitive. She didn't respect the woman I loved and grew up with for years. My stepdaughter heard and was crying. My wife called me harsh and that she's just a kid, but I refused to discuss it, and now they're claiming I'm being cruel and shouldn't go back after promising. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole, don't bite the hand that feeds, play stupid games get stupid prizes, don't be a jerk, pick one. Especially as this was the apex in a pattern of disrespectful comments the stepdaughter had made. Not the a-hole, but be prepared for this to potentially end the marriage. The fact that the wife is using "she's just a kid and she was joking" as excuses, make me think the wife thought the same thing. There's more to this. I suspect your current wife wasn't as okay with your feelings for your ex as she professed to be, and her daughter was expressing what she thought was a defense of her mother. Either way, it's wrong and it's cruel and you didn't deserve it. Not the a-hole for taking back the keys. That being said, the impact of your ex-wife passing away appears to have been unbelievably hard on you, to a degree where you should really consider counseling. I absolutely agree. The resentment she was spewing didn't come from nowhere. Her mother was most likely talking crap behind your back, and her daughter was just parroting that. If it wasn't the case, why hadn't your wife already nipped this behavior in the bud? You admit this isn't the first time she's made insensitive and rude comments about your ex. When that happened, her mother should have shut it down, but didn't, and you have to wonder why. You are not the a-hole OP. I'm very sorry for your loss and the grief and shock you are currently experiencing. It's so hard when someone so close to you is gone. It seems to me like you're being taken for a bit of a ride on this one. Your wife manages to swindle an apartment for her kid and then won't discipline her for being vile? Like an apartment isn't a small gift. I got a nice necklace for my 18th. Out of curiosity, you do love your wife, don't you? And don't talk about her constantly in front of everyone? If so, this might be stepdaughter projecting her mother's insecurities because your wife is too afraid to say so? Just food for thought. Your stepdaughter knew that your ex-wife was important to you. Her comments weren't just disrespectful of your ex-wife, they showed no respect at all for you. Your wife's reaction to her daughter explains a lot about her daughter's behavior. Rather than scolding her daughter and demand that she apologize for her cruel comments, she got angry at you. Her cruel, entitled daughter is of her own making. Not the a-hole. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for not letting my girlfriend's estranged father talk to her or her sister when he came to the house after her mother died? Background: my girlfriend's father walked out on their family after finding out that her mother was pregnant with her younger sister. Because of this, my girlfriend and her sister were raised by their mother and grandparents and lived in her grandparents' place. Growing up, she saw him twice and he only came back because he wanted something from her mother. The first time he came back, her grandmother was terminally ill, her grandfather had already passed, and told her mother that he wanted to be a family again. Apparently during the time he was with the family, he acted like a father and seemed genuinely remorseful for leaving. A while later, my girlfriend's grandmother passed and her mother, her sister and my girlfriend all inherited something. Most importantly, they inherited the house, but her father was left off the will. A short while later, her father bolted again. My girlfriend suspects he came back to get back on her grandmother's good side and be added to the will so he could get something. The second time he came back, her mother was not fooled by his promise to be there for his two daughters and asked why he was there. He wanted a loan to help with his small business. Her mother told him to take a hike, and they haven't seen him since. My girlfriend and her sister despise their father and he's pretty much dead to them. To the now, I've been with my girlfriend for only 8 months, so it's a fairly new relationship, but I had an opportunity to meet her mother, who was a wonderful person by the way. A month ago, my girlfriend's mother tragically died in an accident and, it goes without saying that my girlfriend and her sister are absolutely devastated. I've been staying with them to support my girlfriend and help wherever I can. This Sunday, there was a knock at the door. Girlfriend was busy doing something and sister was in the shower, so I answered it. There was a man outside and he asked who the hell I was, and I told him I was Eve's boyfriend, and I asked who he was and he told me he was their father. After what I heard about him and what he did in the past, he was the last person my girlfriend or her sister should be seeing right now. So, I told him that my girlfriend and her sister would not like to see him and to please not come by anymore. Then I shut the door in his face. I told my girlfriend and her sister that their father came to see them and that I sent him away. They thanked me for dealing with their father as they wouldn't know how to deal with him, especially while they were grieving. I initially believed that I did was right, but my parents and some of her friends called me an a-hole because I wasn't a member of their family and shouldn't be interfering with their family business, and that he was their last remaining blood relative and they deserve a chance to have a relationship with the last member of their family. So, I'm beginning to question if what I did was right. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. I'm glad that you did tell the sisters that he was there. They can now determine themselves if they want to reach out to him. I hope not. Hopefully, the sisters realize that he's only there for his share of whatever it is he can take from them. Being related to someone is not reason enough to have them around. Family is so much more than DNA. Blood is thicker than water, but only vampires want to drink it. Your girlfriend and her sister thanked you for doing what you did. That right there means not the a-hole. It's very easy for outsiders to put their 2 cents in, and say that, oh, family is family, you have to forgive blah blah blah. Was going to say the same thing. If his daughters thank you for dealing with him, then you did the right thing. They can reach out to him if they want, it's not up to the douche that abandoned them. Not the a-hole. You clearly knew the history between these 3 people and made what I would consider the appropriate call. If your girlfriend or her sister want to see this man, they can find him, but is he left because of your girlfriend's sister? I don't see how he is entitled to their time. They both agree with your choice and that's what matters in this situation. The only people whose opinion matters thanked you for dealing with it. Everybody else can shove their irrelevant opinions where the sun don't shine. Not the a-hole. And that's it for this video guys. If you have thoughts to share, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you like this content. I'll catch you in the next one. Good day everyone.